What's up, guys? It's Lord Botha here for another video, and a Game Awards winner is already downsizing. This comes to us from Eurogamer. Frostpunk dev 11-bit cancels project as it was conceived when, quote, story-rich games held stronger appeal. The cancellation has resulted in an unknown number of job losses. Frostpunk developer 11-bit Studios has laid off an unknown number of staffing following the cancellation of its console game codenamed Project 8. The studio said in a statement that although it achieved, quote, noticeable quality improvements in certain areas, quote, several critical aspects of the game and its development process remained problematic despite multiple iterations. This caused delays and, quote, with each milestone, the project budget grew. The decision to shut down finally came after 11-bit reviewed Project 8's progress and found unresolved issues and challenges that would require further extension of the production timeline and corresponding budget increases to address. This, coupled with revised sales forecasts largely reflecting the changing market environment, raised significant doubts about the project's overall profitability. Basically, as they were developing the game, they noticed certain things that they were developing in it wasn't working the way they wanted it to. It was causing costs and the budget for the game to go up. They also got news that people were interested in different kinds of games than what they were going to provide. And so they were unsure whether or not the game would pay for itself. And that's the reason why they say they are canceling it. Management lost confidence in the project and its, quote, quality level, resulting in the termination. The president of the management board of 11-bit Studios said, it was conceived under a very different market condition when narrative-driven story-rich games held stronger appeal. And that's being quoted as the reason why they got rid of it. Basically, they're claiming that live service games, first-person shooters, other stuff that isn't driven by story. This is what the market is telling them gamers actually want and want to spend money on. Microtransaction games, live service games, things like that. Even though we've seen plenty of those fail in the past year. And I don't really subscribe to this reason because Stalker 2 exists. Stalker 2 is a story-driven RPG with survival horror elements, yes, and it sold really, really well. Space Marine, yes, it has a PvP mode and all that, but that's honestly the worst part about the game. The story and environment is what drove people to be interested to the game. It was a great jumping on point for people who are interested in Warhammer. What was the main complaint about Suicide Squad? The characterization and the directions they decided to take certain characters in their stories.
Are we done with your bad stand-up routine?
Almost. But you always gotta end on your best joke.
What was the main complaint about Starfield? The game was vast and expansive, but it was also incredibly boring.
Cause that's all we fucking know! Cause we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
The stories were bland. The characters had no character to them. I don't accept this whole story doesn't matter and gamers aren't interested in story-rich games. That's just completely not true. It's proven by evidence not to be true. The real reason you canceled your game is because you couldn't afford it. Your budget got way out of control. You were spending way more money than you should have on this project, and you weren't confident you were going to get enough money back from it when you put it out. Which tells me you probably spent a ton of money on this project. Way more than a smaller studio should. And this is a studio that won awards at the Game Awards and had a successful sequel to an already successful game in the Frostpunk series. You would think they'd be well in the black as a company, but apparently not. And this has led to layoffs. We see it right here. Although more than half of the current Project 8 team has been reassigned to other internal projects, Project 8's closure would result in a reduction of staff involved in its development, with those impacted receiving an unspecified severance packages and psychological counseling and assistance in finding new employment. Yeah, maybe they can be put on a Mirror's gamer developer Indeed service, right? Also, you got money to spend on psychological counseling for former employees. Yeah, this doesn't seem like a company that knows how to spend their money wisely. That's probably why these employees are getting laid off in the first place. Also, more than half of the current Project A team is being reassigned. That's a fancy way of saying up to a third of our employees have been let go from this project. The studio said it was still committed to several key projects, including Frostpunk 2 and The Alters, which apparently is another game that they're developing. So it sounds like this game was the third child that wasn't actually being cared about or being looked over heavily. And when they found out that it was spending way more money than it should, they just decided to axe the project. In all, it sounds like 11-bit studios didn't manage their money well, don't know what gamers actually want. They had one hit, can do that well, and that's about it. I don't subscribe to the reason they gave that they think gamers aren't interested in story-driven games anymore. That's just completely false, and it's been proven over and over again. I mean, hell, we'll give you another example. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It just came out, and I have my own gripes about the game, but it's definitely a story-driven game, and it's doing really, really well in terms of sales. So this is more of a story, I think, of mismanagement, money misplacement, and just the general state of the gaming industry as an economy, rather than whatever reason they actually give as to why they canceled this project and why they're failing. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching all of it. And we'll talk to you again later.